G'day folks, Dizza from Stone Age Gameplay here, and this is the story of my first day as a Viking in Norway. The job is simple. We are after fame, fortune, and the head of my father's killer, Kjotve. Things started off well. We had found Kjotve and his men almost immediately, but sadly my friends and I were captured in the process, and my arch-enemy made some comments that confused me both emotionally and sexually.
Do I warm your loins?
Anywho, the bastard stole my axe, which has a lot of sentimental value to me, so I single-handedly murdered his goons and began tracking him up the mountain. The terrain was unforgiving, but gosh darn it was beautiful. Time was of the essence, and I could feel my Viking lust for blood taking over. I needed another kill. Here's an easy target. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4, bro. As I was approaching the place where my friends were holed up, I couldn't help but feel a little underdressed for the occasion. So I politely asked to borrow some clothes and weapons from some nearby Norsemen. But every time I went to pick up a shield, it would try to escape like a malfunctioning Roomba. At this point I was getting a little bored, so I decided to jokingly prank some guards the way we did as kids, by throwing their dead friends at them to see how they would react. They surprisingly took it well. Vikings were tougher than I thought. They hardly reacted to the sight of their mangled mate falling from the sky. No more mucking around, I had to stay focused and save my friends. With grace, I sneakily landed in the longhouse that was locked from the outside. Some words were exchanged between me and this boomer, and things escalated rather quickly.
But if you wish to be my first sacrifice...
We ended up throwing hands, but fortunately I was a skilled archer, and landed some critically well placed arrows. A dozen arrows and the fight was over, and I got to save my friends.
Unbind us!
My thanks, the God's favours.
Alright, back to the boat, boys. As luck would have it, more men outside were keen for a beating, so my boys and I happily obliged. Good job, everybody. What a good looking crew. What a good looking crew. I feel good about this. Okay, where is the boat? I got him, I got him. Whoa! Too far, too far. Okay, well, I think we should probably skedaddle. It was time to find our sea legs and continue tracking Kjotve after making a pit stop home to talk to the king and interact with the friendly locals.
You look like reddened shit.
Money was always in short supply for the Raven clan. I was doing my part with an OnlyFans account featuring some rough Viking solo stuff, but it wasn't enough, and the entitled orphans of the street were noticing.
That doesn't count. You need silver.
I was beginning to feel stressed, so I occupied myself with some activities in the main section of the town. First up was an obscure game with a shifty man and a fake accent.
Let us begin.
Truth be told, I was completely dominating the entire match until he clutched it with a blue eyes white dragon right at the end. It was at this point I said, F this, and went on to participate in a rap battle with Professor Snape. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Knees weak, arms heavy, mom spaghetti.
I look eagerly forward to seeing how you fare.
I will make you regret what you've taught me today.
Things got heated once again after a disagreement over who the clear winner was, that we ended up burying Snape by his favourite lookout, as I continued on with my journey. Pushing on, I found the town drunk, and after a couple of warm-up drinks, I challenged her to a drinking contest.
Think you can handle a few rounds?
Unfortunately for her, I'd been using alcohol to suppress memories of my father's death since I was 11 winters old, so I was able to obliterate her no worries and declare victory in true Nordic fashion. Later that evening, I was peer pressured into getting on some potent psychedelics by a local witch. This confronted me with some hard truths and peeled back some layers to expose some disturbing yet unquestionable feelings.
What are you doing, stepbro?
A short time later, stepbrother returned home in real life with some shady looking fellows and we entered the longhouse to celebrate. I was gifted a shiny new blade, and after some practice on straw dummies, I was able to test it out on some random camper nearby who nobody would ever notice should he go missing. I patiently waited until my target was distracted. It may not have looked like much at the time, but hey, it was really cold in the mountains. With the perfect opportunity presenting itself, I leaped out of the bushes while he was midstream and proceeded to quench my thirst for blood while falling in love with my new blade. We then decided to board the ship again and make our way to someplace important, I forget where, and shake things up with our dominating presence and a knack to claim other people's belongings as our own. But it wasn't long until some king with amazing hair showed up. Some important words were exchanged, although I forget the exact details, and the next thing I knew I was facing off against the bloke who killed my old man. This was the fight I had been training for all day. The arrows to the taint that had been proven to be so effective before had no effect on Kjotve the Cruel. So I gave the signal and my accomplice, what's-his-face, leapt out of the shadows with such purpose, only to let me down like everybody else in my life. I had run out of arrows and run out of options, so after failing to reschedule this duel to a later date, I mustered every last bit of strength that I had and finished him off with one mighty swing of my father's axe. But the battle wasn't quite over. We scaled the castle walls to finish off any remaining survivors, who at this point seemed kind of over it by now. Things ended well, and the crew and I went on to celebrate at some party island the next day. It was going to be this amazing music festival with luxury villas, celebrity chefs, and Ja Rule was going to be there too. On the way to my accommodation, I came across this thirsty shield maiden and her flaccid husband.
My husband. He cannot satisfy his wife!
After a bit of tuning up, they invited me to a devil's threesome.
Well, all right.
So I dressed appropriately and made my way in, smashing everything and everyone in my path. All in all, it was a pretty successful day, and we took non-creepy selfies to commemorate the occasion. 10 out of 10 would do again. And that was my first day as a Viking in Norway.